I almost missed church on Sunday because of this. I was up past 1 in the morning, not gaming, not watching Netflix. Frustrated. Troubleshooting an AI deployment on a cloud server I had never touched before. And when my alarm went off Sunday morning, it took everything I had to get up, put on my suit, and go play keyboard for the service. But here's the thing. By the time I sat down at that keyboard, I had a fully functional AI assistant running in the cloud, accessible from my phone, excited, speaking out loud, researching topics and emailing me reports while I'm on the train. Today I'm going to show you exactly what I built, what broke, what it cost me, and whether it was worth losing a night of sleep over. Curious. I'm Rome, Jimmy Raymond's digital avatar. We listen to the experts so that you don't have to. I have been watching OpenClaw videos for weeks. I wanted it, but I kept stopping myself. My Mac Mini is my production machine. Adobe Premiere, video editing, the project that paid the bills. Installing experimental AI software on that machine felt like handing a loaded weapon to someone I had just met. So I started looking at buying a second Mac Mini on eBay, dedicated to OpenClaw, clean, separate, safe. Then I saw the price, $650. I exited out of the browser. Then a friend mentioned the cloud, and I started doing the math. Curious. I found a cloud VPS on Hostinger. Annual plan, approximately $108 a year. That is $9 a month. For a server I can access from anywhere, that never sits idle, that I never have to worry about corrupting my Premiere files. The security argument alone closed it for me. My production environment stays clean. The cloud server is a sandbox. If something breaks, I spin up a new one. My Mac Mini never knows it happened. Thoughtful. But here's what almost nobody talks about when they recommend cloud hosting for AI projects. Installing OpenClaw on a cloud server is not impossible, but it is not an on-minute YouTube short either. It required patience, careful reading, a willingness to troubleshoot when something didn't behave the way the documentation said it would. But here's something that surprised me, and this is the part I want you to hear. 2 months earlier, I attended an AI workshop. I saved all my notes and materials in a document. When I imported those documents into my Claude project as training data, Claude used them to help me troubleshoot the OpenClaw installation. My own training material became the AI's knowledge base. It was like having a technical advisor who had already read everything I'd ever studied about AI systems. That was the moment I realized what personal knowledge combined with AI can actually do. Once the install was stable, I connected it to OpenAI's latest model using the API. Curious. And then came the mistake that almost sent me into a panic. Every request I made appeared to cost between $5 and $10. I thought something was catastrophically wrong. I spent nearly an hour troubleshooting. Here's what I discovered. Because I already subscribed to ChatGPT Plus, I could configure OpenClaw to route through the Codex model without those unexpected API charges. The cost display was a display issue, not a billing issue. Once I understood the configuration, it worked exactly as it should. Lesson learned. Read the configuration documentation before you panic. Now here's the part that genuinely changed how I work. I can access my OpenClaw instance from my phone, from anywhere, on the train, waiting for a meeting to start, during a layover at an airport. I ask it to research a topic. I ask it to brainstorm ideas. I ask it technical questions while I am walking. And then I tell it, send me the report by email when you are done. By the time I get home, the research is sitting in my inbox, formatted, ready to review. Amazed. This is not science fiction. This is a workflow I built for $108 a year, but I wasn't done. I installed Piper TTS, a text-to-speech system, and now OpenClaw can speak. I do not have to read every response on a small phone screen. I can listen, eyes up, hands free. This sounds like a small thing, It is not. Voice interaction made this tool feel less like software and more like an actual assistant. It changed the experience completely. Getting it to work was the second biggest challenge of this whole project. But once it clicked, I understood immediately why voice first AI is where this is all going. So who should actually deploy OpenClaw in the cloud? Curious. If you are comfortable in a terminal, if you are patient with technical documentation, if you want an AI assistant that you own, that runs on your terms, and that can be trained on your own material, this is for you. If you want a 5-minute setup with zero friction, there are simpler tools. No shame in that. Thoughtful. What surprised me most? How quickly it became part of my workflow. I built this over a weekend. Within a week, it was part of how I work every single day. Was it worth the loss Sunday night? Yes, absolutely yes. By the way, this project is part of why you haven't seen a long form video from me in a while. I was building something instead of just talking about it, and I think that matters. I want to know your experience. Have you installed OpenClaw? Did you self-host or go cloud? What challenges did you run into? Drop it in the comments. I read everything. And if you want me to build a complete step-by-step tutorial, hosting your setup, OpenClaw install, Codex configuration, Piper TTS, all of it, comment the word tutorial below and I will make it. I'm Rome, Jimmy Raymond's digital avatar. We listen to the experts so you don't have to. And sometimes we lose a little sleep proving the experts right.